What was Tim Corrigan doing before Small Press Comics Explosion? He was working on The Alliance. Let's take a look. And hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live, and we are taking a look at The Alliance as our classic zine of the week. This is a publication from C&T Graphics from October 1985, published by an individual whose name you've heard a lot on this channel, and that being Tim Corrigan. Tim is the publisher of Small Press Comics Explosion. He's since passed. But he has been in the zine making world, the small press comics making world for a long, long time. And he continued long past his publication period on SPCE. So I picked this up when I was looking through my material that I wanted to review for this week. And I thought to myself, I hadn't seen this in a long time. And so I thought it would be interesting to take a look and kind of get a feel for what Corrigan was doing on the cusp of starting SPCE. And he calls this The Alliance. It's a new supergroup, a new era in comics. I'm going to jump straight to the back and share this with you. Yeah, it's some rough text done typewriter style, but if you know Corrigan's work, you will know that this is actually kind of his thing. He just used his typewriter and that was that. Says, for most of you, this premiere issue of The Alliance will be all new material. A few of you may recognize the story as The Origin of Rockman, which appeared slightly differently in Tim Corrigan's superhero comics back in 1974. I've changed the character names from Rockman to Stoneman because someone else now owns the rights to Rockman. Side note, I do look forward to reading Rockman. I have a feeling it could be really funny. Does he go music? Does he go geology? It's Rockman. Likewise, Lady Laser is being used by another publisher, so now we have Laserlass. Okay, so his intention in 74 to eventually bring these characters together, and he will be doing so as soon as he's rewritten and redrawn all the original stories. That should take us up to The Alliance 8. And so I just wanted to make sure you understood. This is the recreation, the representation of a 1974 zine that he did. And I will share with you, this is Rockman. Tim he uses his mini comic, and this is a standard quarter page mini comic. He uses it in a way that I'm not entirely sure fits the format. He has a lot of text, a lot of exposition, and as a result, he has to shrink his artwork down really tight. So yeah, he's only got, taking away the title bar here, you've only got 3 panels, or you've only got 5 panels on a page, but lordy, he's got a lot going on these pages, and he's got a lot of discussion. And I just think that taking the same material and blowing it up maybe even to digest size, if not full comic size, which would have been tough back in 85, I'll admit. Easier to do digest, harder to do full-size comic or magazine, just because it was expensive and difficult to compile and the like. It was a lot easier to make mini comics, much like it is today. But he really threw a lot in here. So anyway, you've got the individual here, James Harvard, who graduated from college with his degree in journalism, going to work for a magazine in the city. He's leaving town, going off to New York City. But as we said, fate has other plans for our young graduate. And you see the death of a star. There's a supernova, and there are fragments, and one of the fragments comes to the planet Earth. And of course, it has to hit the train that Mr. Harvard is on, and he's in the hospital. It's a miracle he survived. And he's now reading about in a newspaper about the actual accident, and you can see he's starting to turn into Rockman. Now, I'm going to do a couple points here before we get too deep into this. And as you can see, pretty standard facial features, nice establishing layout shot. I like the progression here. I do notice that on the explosion, you've got some Kirby crackle going on. And I point out Kirby because if you start looking at some of the faces, you will notice some very strong similarities to Jack Kirby's style. Excuse me. And I find that kind of interesting. Though, and then again, this is where using the mini comic format may not be the best way to go. He threw some toning on, at least it looks like toning, may have been just gray shading. It doesn't show up fantastic on the mini comic, but you know, and his line work is so thin in some spots, it's a miracle that it comes out as good as it does. So anyway, he's turning gray, his arms are becoming solid rocks. You can see, I mean, this is some classic Kirby type looks. Basically, I think he's kind of re-showing the Thing from Fantastic Four. But anyway, so he's been allowed to see his wife, and he gets ready to go, heads home, and of course, he doesn't want to. His wife wants to know, what's wrong with you? And he says, I wish I knew. There's not his wife, it's Judy. Who's Judy? I need to double check. No? Okay. Anyway, so as you can see, he's running out into traffic, and of course, he gets hit by a speeding truck. The lady's all upset, and lo and behold, he looks in an image not unlike the Hulk with the shredded shirt and perfectly clean pants. He has got himself a life-size impression of himself in the front of that bus, and you can see he's kind of a rock creature at that time, but he calms down, and of course there's the "you're not human, who are you, what are you?" And he starts trying to figure it out. Tell me that is not a Kirby face. And so we're starting to figure out kind of how it all works. And then you've got the kind of drawing down of his origin story of what happened to me, I've got to rest and relax. Then you've got the police starting to figure out that something's going on because of the way that the truck got hit. And then in the apartment of Carol Morgan, research scientist in laser technology, you can see she's starting to figure something out. And she says, it's my roommate Nancy. And she doesn't want Nancy to see her in the costume. And she's getting ready to go because she's got laser gloves, and she's took them from the lab. So it's an interesting little book. Obviously the first of a multi-part thing. He's already said it, would go probably 7 issues just to redo the 1974 work, and then he would have to start doing new stuff. I'm not sure how much more of this actually came out. But it is an interesting look, and more importantly, I think it is a good discussion of kind of the merits of using different sizes of page with different types of layouts, and especially scripting and lettering, and how much a mini comic size page can actually handle before it gets to be too much. Of course, it's Tim. He was a very good artist and an excellent storyteller. So it's a good example of kind of the best of what you can get out of that approach. So that's The Alliance, issue number 1. Cost only 50 cents for that 8-page mini comic. October 85. That's all for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching FANzine Live. I will catch you next time.